This is going to be my journey of defeating the Titan in Fortnite Save the World. It was pretty fun. I got launched off the map a few times, and it was really fun figuring out the different mechanics. So, yeah, let's get started. First things first, we need to pick a loadout. I had already seen a bit of gameplay footage of this fight, and I felt like having a high single target damage loadout would be ideal. I love the ground pounder. I love shotgun builds in general, so that's what I opted for. I'll show the build quickly on screen, but if you want an in-depth guide on all shotgun loadouts and everything you should consider using, link to that video down below. It is extremely thorough, and the ground pounder just perked as is going to do great. I'll also link my ground pounder best perks down below if you guys want to get more information. First things first, got to get some wafers. I feel like I'm going to need a lot during this fight. I wasn't really sure what to expect at this point. I just wanted to be prepared. And of course, you got to clean up some local wildlife. How could you not? I actually really like this starting console. It's pretty cool to see the Titan spinning in place. He's like a really juiced up smasher. He's like a modified version of it. I really hope that they do future bosses based on the normal mist monsters that we're familiar with, but they're stronger in some way. I really like that idea, and I just thought this was cool. Next thing to do is to track down the Titan. Gotta use my Witcher senses. I'm not gonna go through this every single time, as I covered this very thoroughly in my update video, linked down below. If you guys want an overview of how this quest typically goes, you're definitely gonna get it from this video, just in general, but that video is a lot more focused on the subject. Basically, you have to track him down, and then every time you find 4 of his tracks, you actually initiate a fight where you have to break one of his crystals. We're gonna be focusing more in this video on those fights themselves and how fun they were. And speaking of which, here we are. I cannot help but think of those crystal guys from Borderlands 2 that drop a bunch of money when you break their crystals. I want a bunch of gold to break out of there whenever we break the crystals, but as you can see, once we smash it, he flies off, and then you gotta track him down again. Oh, shit. Okay. Second time around was crazy fast. We definitely had the hang of it this time. We had a bunch of practice breaking that first crystal, and then ground pounder totally rocking out in teamwork, made very quick work of him. He didn't even last 20 seconds. I'm sure some of you can relate. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this fight was a mess. He landed in a cavern, basically just a little ravine where the retrieve the data sometimes spawns. I failed to build up. He's breaking builds constantly. I'm falling down onto the ground. I can't build. I'm getting attacked by another enemy. I can't build again. Can I say that I can't build? It was a hard time, okay? He's only down to a quarter HP. He's flying around, knocking me all over the place, spamming wafers. It was messy. This guy is mean. Could you imagine if this was like a normal mini boss in regular missions and they're smashing your builds left and right? This is like a smasher on steroids. I said it earlier, but it is coming true right now. Struggling to heal myself. I can't even do it. It's a mess. It's a mess. I'm trying to like balance between Chaos Agent reloads and wafers, and the war cry spent. Oh my god. But his health is going down. All thanks to Eat Crab, who's using a deatomizer. Thank you very much for the substantial amount of help. But with the 3 of us that were actually helping, we eventually managed to take him down. It was then at last that I was finally able to collect this loot from a glowing animal. All right, let's see. Let's see this end screen reward. Okay, got a bunch of XP. It's normal. It's normal. I don't even know what that's from. Probably the different phases. Okay, candy. This is a daily quest. That's it. We're already out of the... What incentive is there to run this? Overjoyed with the loot from the first fight, I had to jump in again, and the fight went flawlessly. I only fell down once. I only fell down twice. I only fell off 3 times. Then I popped a wafer and I got to work, dishing out millions of damage per second. I was feeling like a monster. Oh, I'm not back. And I only fell off 4 times, and then I was back into the fight. Flawless. I know, what the hell? They worked together on that one. They were working together on that one, but that didn't stop me from pounding him from below. I came from down there and was showing no signs of slowing. Our onslaught was victorious, and we could move on to the real boss. The zombie chicken. Now, in that last game, I was using a physical ground pounder because I felt like it would do a lot more damage to the boss, and it did. It was actually pretty good. I didn't really need to deal with any of the surrounding enemies like I thought I would. I ran an energy copy in my very first fight because I was worried about smashers in the surrounding area, but honestly, that wasn't even necessary. So physical is definitely the way to go. This time around, I tried double browbeater and was horribly disappointed. It's a great weapon set, but it takes too long to reload, so you're not able to keep the pressure on when you're destroying the crystals. What I did see was that apparently the Storm King's Wrath is really effective against the crystals. Thank you, Hero, for showing us that. She just basically two-shotted it, and I was very impressed. I thought the explosive resistance would matter there, but it just cut right through it. Oh, I took out the Chaos Agent. I don't like this. I'm spending the whole fight reloading. Oh, don't worry, guys. I'll be there soon. Yeah, I'll show up. Yeah, the Browbeater is a fantastic weapon. Double pumping it is awesome. I even used it in Fortnite. Link to that video down below. But for anything that survives more than 10 shots, it just does not keep up. It spends way too much time reloading, and I cannot recommend it. Now, Hero showed us that the pot shot is also very strong, and it's not just the Storm King's Wrath, which honestly really impressed me. It seems like the pot shot is currently bugged to ignore that rocket launcher resistance. That is a great way to kind of cheese the fight. I'll link her entire run in the description down below. Soloing this is a pretty tough fight, and I would love to see somebody do this without cheesing it with the pot shot. I feel like there are some very strong weapons out there, even beyond the Ground Pounder and the Huskbuster, but this is a pretty cool concept, so we figured we would run double pot shot. And here's how that went. I ran a very bad build. I basically put Lynx in the lead with totally rocking out and did not use wafers. So I had no way to activate my team perk without killing a bunch of enemies, and I wasn't about to bother doing that. And it did really well versus the Crystal. Not as well as the Storm King's Wrath, but decently impressive for a boss that's meant to be rocket resistant. This second crystal wave was a surprising mess. My pot shot was either doing no damage, or I got the wrong angle, or my teammates just weren't hitting it either. Like, it was exploding and doing nothing. It was weird. And you can see here the plasmatic discharger is just doing next to nothing. I mean, like, tens of thousands looks like a lot, but it was not killing it very fast, and I'm happy to see that. The discharger cheeses a lot of the hardest stuff in this game, and it's really cool to see that Epic is pushing back on that a little bit and encouraging people to try different strategies. Speaking of different strategies, here we are with our double pot shot build, and this is the final fight. You know, the crystals are broken, the health bar is active and not displaying the thing properly, but it's going down way too fast. It's actually, like, surprisingly unsurprising watching it go down. We have a teammate using the minigun and the lefty and righty, and that's a pretty good combo. I think that actually works pretty well. Lefty and righty is very strong versus this, but I don't think it lasts long enough to get the health down. Although two people spamming double pot shot and it's bugged and not resist it, it went down really easily. And thus concludes my Titan journey. It was not an extremely hard fight that took hours and hours that led up to a gigantic completion. It was honestly just a fun time. We had no trouble defeating it in any of our attempts, so it wasn't that hard to overcome. It would be cool to maybe do this with different strategies, but with no reward at the end, and a weird seasonal window where it's like only available for a limited amount of time, but we can only see that in the files. Epic hasn't announced it. I don't know when this is going to be coming back regularly, or if this is something they're going to keep. We think this is like a trial mission where they're trying something new and they're seeing if players like this. I, for one, would love to see more of this. This was really, really cool. With proper rewards and perhaps an actual quest line, even if it's some fetch quest, just something to give us an excuse to go and fight this boss, I would really like that. I feel like since they already made this a juiced up smasher that's super big, I would like to see variants of it in regular missions. The mini bosses we have in regular games are honestly just normal husks with modifiers on them. They are not that exciting and they aren't really doing anything special. They just exist and they either have smoke screen or they push you around. You know, the modifiers have different effects, but they don't really change that it is just a husk with things slapped on it. To see an actual boss fight with crystals and phases and lunge attacks we've never seen before, I think that's really cool. Seeing that in regular missions would be very, very fun, and I think we'd all like to see that, seeing as the Storm King is one of the coolest things you could do and save the world, and more would be fun. More would be fun. So yeah, I hope Epic sees the positive reaction from the community and keeps this around or innovates on it in the future, because I think we would all really enjoy that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, like the video if you liked it. At the end of that mission, we did unlock the flame bow, so if you'd like to see my coverage of that weapon, link to the first look video in the description down below. I definitely want to take a look at that again in the future already, but if you haven't seen that first video, it's there. And that's it. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys in the next one. And then